Okay. So they say, hi, I'm a returning logo gold player from Overwatch 1 who mains Rein and Winston with 260 hours on the game. I really like the new push mode, and it may be placebo, but I feel like I always lose on push. I don't know why this is, but I just don't understand how I am meant to position myself and where the fights are meant to take place. I probably am also messing up in other ways on this mode that I don't know. Alright.
Objective unlocks in 30 seconds.
Okay. So we're watching you. Let's just see how you roll out. I'm just going to watch like your first fight or so. We'll see where you're at, and then I'm going to start talking about things.
Stand behind me, friends. I will keep you safe.
Okay. I actually, there's probably going to be more, and we'll see just how much more there is. Like, I'm not going to like just stop the VOD right here, but I can already make you a better Reinhardt with like one simple thing. So, let's watch this rollout. Alright. So we roll out. We even look behind us to see where our team is. I love that. And then here. So your shield is only 1200 health. Also, for a variety of reasons I will get into as the review continues, you don't want your team behind you using your shield most of the time. You don't. Because if they're all grouped up in a small enough area that they can use your shield, A, your shield's going to break super fast, and B, they're just all in a clump where the enemy can just surround them. So, like, let's pretend this isn't a gold game and you have, like, smart opponents, right, who know what they're doing. For shits and giggles, let's just pretend. So, your whole team's playing right here. So what happens when a sniper hero pops up right here? A flanker starts playing inside this doorway where, like a tracer, where they can just blink out and no one can get to them or do anything about them. And so you're being poked by this tracer, your dudes are being shot over here, you still have the tank fighting up here with his support, and maybe like another support being an asshole coming over here and like looking to create some more pressure. So you're surrounded, and what do? You spin in a circle and you cry, right? Like, there's nothing you can do about that. They're all at range in a variety of directions, and you're a melee hero with no mobility and a shield, right? So, there's other reasons too. Oh, hey, NGC. Welcome. I just started. Just barely started. So, for that reason and other reasons, your shield is more for you than it is for your team. It's so you, Reinhardt, can get into the fight to swing on people, and so you can back out later and live. If you spend your whole shield for your team, that 1200 HP is going to go pretty fast, it's going to break, and then if you push in, you're way more likely to die. It's so hard for you to back out. Like, you either push it and win, or you push it and lose, and those are your options, right? And also, like, these are gold players. Are they even going to get any picks from behind your shield like this? Probably not. And the big secret of Reinhardt, at least secret to lower elos, is what makes space for your team is your hammer. If you are on top of this Reaper swinging your hammer on him, who is this Reaper concerned about? Is he concerned about the DPS that's going to take a cheeky flank? Not in the slightest. Yeah? That DPS that wants to flank now has all the space in the world to just walk their happy ass up here and murder this Mercy in cold blood because this Reaper can't do shit about it because there's a Reinhardt hitting him with a hammer. He has bigger problems, yeah? So it is your hammer that makes space for your team. your shield makes space for you. Yeah? There are some specific times where you might want to use your shield for your team. Like, you might choose to help your Sojourn duel a Widow or something, right? Or you might help your team cross some open space or push through a choke, right? Like, that's cool. If you're helping them cross one bit of space to another, that's a great use of your shield. But also in this elo, they're not going to cross anyway. So, like, it's not a great use of your shield right now. It'll become a great use later when people actually cross open space. Because you can help them do that. Anyway, all of that to say, look at how we path here. And we're hanging back holding our shield, and then we walk through open space, and then we back up in open space, and then we walk into open space, and we back up in open space. And we're not swinging on anyone, really. We're just losing our shield, going back and forth, going back and forth. The pathing you wanted here. You have a couple of options. Let's just say you came here to main. Like, we're here now, right? You would want to push all the way up to here, or even come inside. Walk up to this corner and hug this corner, like literally shoulder check it. Be trying to push your way through it practically. Because when you're touching this corner, no one can shoot you unless they push through. And if they push through, they're in hammer range, right? You cannot be shot by anyone that you can't swing on, with the exception of, like, if somebody comes and takes a flank, etc. But then that's not your issue to deal with on Reinhardt, right? That's unfortunately a time we got to rely on our team to deal with those angles because you're Reinhardt. So what you want to do is, despite the fact that you have that shield, you want to always be playing cover, and you want to path through cover and along walls and play on corners, not in open space, because that lets you choose how you use your resources. If you're in open space, you have to use your shield. You have to let them break your shield, right? Like, it's either that or they shoot you. There's no other options. If you're here, you can turn around with your shield and be like, I'm going to try to push up to here with my shield and then swing from this corner. Yeah, and try to push them back and then swing from this corner. And now I got shield, so now I'm going to push all the way to, like, this corner. Or maybe I can't push quite that far yet, so I'll push into here and start playing around these corners, sorts of things. If you take nothing else from this VOD, live on corners forever on Reinhardt. Reinhardt just always on a corner, and you will be doing so much better. So much better. But if you have any questions about that, let me know. I'm sure I'm going to be going more into it as we continue. I'm just going to watch a little bit more of this fight. To see, we've done basically no damage. And to be clear, this is working right now because the enemy team doesn't know what they're doing either. So, like, it can be really hard to learn from mistakes in this elo because you don't get punished for mistakes consistently. The enemy team is making bizarro mistakes all the time. So, like, you could 100% be forgiven for not, like, noticing some of these things are problems. Because, like, if this were a plat game, literally just one elo up, yeah? If this were, like, low, mid, plat, your team would be losing this fight already. And the bot would be pushing the other way. It's wild that these guys are backing out and that they aren't just taking this high ground and shooting around you and over you. But in low gold, nobody takes the high grounds. So actually, before we continue, I was going to talk about the other thing I wanted to talk about. This is, I guess, the second thing to work on. The playing on corners is way, way, way more important. Like I said, if you take nothing else from this VOD, please take that. And that's probably going to get you to plat. Honestly, no other changes. I haven't even seen you plat. Like, that's the big change. That'll get you up to the next elo. Probably. But, the other thing to consider as you're choosing your corners, right? You want to give yourself the most options possible. And you don't want to get surrounded, right? I talked about this early in the VOD where, like, if people get if people surround you, all you can do is spin in a circle and cry, right? Like, there's fuck all you can do as Reinhardt. So, your rollouts. Actually, let me bird's eye view this. This might make a little bit more sense. Whee! Okay. So, all of the maps in this game are built around 3 lanes. They get kind of funky and weird, though, and some of them weirder than others. Like, it's not like a hard, fast 3 lanes. It's like a general loose 3-ish lanes. So, what the cart path, bot path, whatever, everyone calls this main, right? So here's main. And then typically, you'll have an outer lane. You can be walking through all these buildings here. This is a nice little flank. You can come up through here and all into here. This is a nice little flank. So, like, this one is funky because it, like, curves around in weird ways. But you'll even find that you have, like, 3 lanes intersecting 3 lanes. Right? All that to say, if you are in the middle lane, the main, if you are ever on main where the bot is, which, you know, sometimes you will have to be here as Reinhardt, absolutely. But whenever you're here, that means people can take an outer lane and take the other outer lane, and you are now surrounded. And you, as Reinhardt, can't deal with both lanes, and you don't have an off tank anymore to go shut one of them down for you. That used to be the role of the off tank, was to just control one of these outer lanes and shut it down. Yeah? So either the DPS or the main tank could deal with the other, and you could control an entire map. Now, because you can't, you really want to position... Like I said, so, like, if you had rolled out... This is just one possible rollout. This isn't the one you have to do. This is just, like, an idea, how I want you thinking about the game. Let's come out fully left. We're not going to walk down main. We're going to walk up this high ground, because high grounds give us options, right? If the enemy is high ground and we're low ground, we can't do shit about it. If we're high ground and the enemy's low ground, we can drop on them, right? So, starting high grounds on Rein is really, really good for you. It's really good to start here, because it gives you the option. You can always drop, right? And so, typically, on most tanks, I will roll out to here, yeah? And now from here on this high ground, we're in the middle, but we can see everything that's going on. And a lot of DPS like to come and flank up here, because it's a good flank. It gets you... If the enemy team just all defaults down main, then you get free access to their backline, right? And I don't want the enemy to have free access to my backline, so I'm going to walk up this way. Fuck the bot. I'm going to come to here, and this is going to be my first corner. Because as I'm walking up, I can make sure this is clear. If it's not clear, I can physically walk up here and clear it myself. Yeah? Don't be afraid to take the time to walk on people as Reinhardt, right? Because it's the walking on people that makes the space for your team. Hanging in the back and holding shield, they just break your shield and they kill you and your team. If they're smart, right? And if there isn't anyone taking those flanks, then you can, like, push up to here and be swinging around here. And if anyone does walk up there, you know, you're basically on top of them. It's pretty clean, pretty easy. Lets you... And then if anyone, like, is somehow flanking from this side, you're looking at them, right? You see them coming so much easier by positioning on a corner like this. Potentially, you could also choose to just roll out to main. And then... Yeah, because everyone's going to get here at the same time, right? And then so when we get here, we can choose to just play inside here, or we can push up and start playing over here. It's a little bit dealer's choice, and it's also a little bit trial and error. Like, try things out, see what works for you, see what doesn't, but that is how you should be approaching these maps, yeah? Is all this making sense so far? Sometimes I explain things in weird ways, so please feel free to, like, stop me and ask a question. If team doesn't follow, do I just keep going, or do I stick with my team? So, fun fact, until, I don't know, Masters maybe, your team's not going to follow you. Your team is playing their own game. No one is playing a team game until at least Masters. Yeah? Which sounds a little bit depressing, but it's okay. Because you can still make team play happen. Absolutely. It just means it's all on you. It's one directional team play. They are never, ever, ever. I mean, they might on accident, but like, we don't want to rely on them ever following up on our plays, right? It's just not going to happen. It's so much more consistent to follow up on theirs and pay attention to theirs. So, if they, one of the single best habits you can build as a tank, and I'm really bad at this is something I need to work on myself, but if you watch, like, the best tanks, they're doing this all the time. Just that. They do, like, a little 180 or a full 360 flick, like, every 3 to 5 seconds. And early in the fight, that's not hard. But in the middle of the fight, when you're swinging, everyone's shooting you, like, all kinds of shit's going down, remembering to keep doing that, it's easier said than done, but it's one of the best habits you could ever build as a tank. Just see where your team is. See everything that's going on, and you'll make better choices, right? Most people aren't dumb, they're just unaware. They don't know what's going on, and so they can't make a good choice. Feed yourself that information, yeah? So, if they're not pushing with you, my advice is, as you're pushing especially, every time you get to a corner, get to that corner, look where they are. Cool. Then, assess the enemy team, and decide if you want to stay, push, or back up. And then, if you're going to push, turn around one more time and see where they're at. Because I can't tell you how many times I've pushed, turned, seen my whole team. We're like 16 people versus 2. We can murder them all right now. I'm fucking pushing. And then I'm dead and I turn around and everyone's just backed up for no goddamn reason. That shit will happen all the time. Save yourself the pain, yeah? Just look around. And then on the other hand, sometimes they won't be passive in the back. Sometimes they are going to be fucking in it, right? They're going to be pushing hard and hard feeding. And you can turn that hard feed into just a super aggro play if you're with them. My caution with you there is there's a tiny bit of nuance to this, but like I wouldn't worry about the nuance just yet. Generally speaking, you never want to die for a teammate, yeah? On any role. Tank, DPS, support, do not die for them. Because once you die for them, you're relying on them to clutch the fight for you. And I would rather we rely on ourselves, learn to rely on ourselves to clutch a fight, right? Because that makes us the better player, and then we get to climb. So, if, you know, you got the hard feeder that's just fucking right here, right now, in deep, we probably don't come here, but maybe we come up here, and we drop right here on this Mercy, and then we can drop around behind this corner, which gives us this escape route where we can pin right back into our team to get out if we need to, right? So being clever, thinking ahead about your escape routes so you can push in aggressively and still get out alive, that's like step 3 or 4. That one's also hard. Work on the other stuff first, but that's like your next level, yeah? Because that really helps you stick with the feeding teammates without feeding yourself, and maybe you turn their feed into a massive play instead. And then they're, you know, in comms talking about how they're such a hard carry, not realizing they only lived because their tank was right there with them. Yeah. You actually have a much, much better sense of ebb and flow than, like, Plat Reinhardt's, even. Seriously. The like, push up, back up feeling with Rein, like, I have health and shield, so I'm going to push and swing. Oh shit, they're shooting me, I'm going to back up with shield. Now I have health, so I'm going to push and swing. Like, that's way better than it has any right to be for your elo, and it's not working very well simply because you're in open space. You do the same thing from around a corner, and I swear it's making all the difference in the world. Just as an Overwatch 2 change, an Overwatch 2 tip. And this gets a little bit weird as a tank, but generally speaking, don't fight tanks. Tanks in Overwatch 2 are unfucking killable, especially if their supports are pocketing them. You can have all 5 people focusing this Orisa, and if her Mercy and Bap are alive and are pocketing her, all 5 of you will not kill her. Between Fortify and Lamp and all those heals, and yeah, no, it's not happening. So the big trick is you ignore this Orisa. You pretend she doesn't exist, and she gets very little value. You can flank on Rein. You could absolutely walk around and just walk into the backline swinging. When they turn around, pin somebody into a wall. Now we're with our team with shield. You can get cheeky. You can do some crazy shit. There are good ways and bad ways to go about it. You could also like come around this corner and just hard feed and die, right? So that might be a little bit more trial and error. I like to call that like limit testing. Like how much bullshit can I get away with, right? But in a situation like this, you have a tough call to make because objectively, the smart play is to stop fighting this Orisa and to walk around behind and start shooting them in the back. Like, I get that both their supports just died. Let's pretend their supports are still alive, right? This is like 5 seconds earlier in this fight, and it's still a real fight, not just the cleanup like it is right now. The problem with that is in this elo, everyone fights the tank, because the tank's in the front. Tank's the first thing they see, right? So if you walk away, they might die to the tank. That might not be a problem, right? If they're dying to the tank anyway, then your only option is to walk away and trade backlines and hope that's enough. But, ideally, you're the one that everyone is looking at. You keep this Orisa busy, you keep her supports busy keeping her alive, and that makes the space your DPS need to take an angle and murder the backline. But if your DPS aren't taking an angle, if everyone is just right here front and center, which they will be, like that's just a hallmark of this elo, right? You should seriously consider, even on Reinhardt, going on a flank. To be fair, you did say you also play Monkey, and that's where Monkey is strong, right? Because you could be like, like hanging over here, right-clicking this Orisa, and then we just sort of walk over and we leap on the back line, we drop a bubble, we tase some people, everyone turns around, and then we leap back to our team, we get healed up, and we just sort of go in a circle and do it again. Because she has mobility, she's a little bit better suited to that. D.Va is even better because her boosters are on a 4-second cooldown, and she has 3 seconds of defense matrix, so she can actually just assassinate a backline and leave. But it is a play that you can absolutely consider on Rein. And if, like I said, if you are front and center, and your team is also front and center, and it is not working, it's probably the only play available to you. Like, if your DPS won't take the flank, then you gotta. Sometimes I do this, and then I get flayed by my support for letting them die. Is that me doing badly, or is that gold for supports? It's at least gold for supports. Like I said, there are good ways to do this and bad ways to do this, right? You can absolutely fuck this up. But one way to think about it is, did you win the fight, right? So, like, I got flamed by my BAP, push game I played yesterday, where we beat them 6-4. Not push, escort. We beat them 6-4 on an escort map. But I was getting flamed by my BAP because I was playing D.Va and diving the backline the whole time, and he kept dying. But, like, he has boots. He has lamp. He was positioning awfully. So, like, he has escape options and could have been positioning better to not die, but he kept dropping onto point to contest the point as BAP and dying on point, and then bitching at me for not contesting the point. And I'm like, fuck the point. I killed both supports and got out alive, so we won that fight. I don't give a fuck that my BAP's dead, because both of their supports are dead, right? So, I guess the trading backlines play. What you're trying to do is get more value than the other guy. You're trying to do it better than the person diving your backline. That's the challenge, right? And sometimes you won't. Sometimes, like, the enemy Genji is enough better than your supports, then you are better than, like, the enemy support positioning, right? That Genji is just killing your backline and you can't quite do it as well. Unfortunate. Yeah? We can't win every game, but, like, that is the goal. And in a game like that, where they're just doing it better, turn that into an exercise, right? Turn that into a learning experience. This game's lost. Fuck it. Now I'm just going to flank the backline over and over and over and over again, but I'm not going to do it just blindly, dumbly. I'm going to think about every single one. I'm going to try new things every single time, and I'm going to try to get better at this. So at least on the next game, maybe I can make this shit work, right? Sometimes even on Bucky, I get flayed for that. Yeah, I mean, low elo, people just don't know. In that case, I don't flank, I kill Genji or keep fighting tank. Oh man, there's so much nuance to this game. First off, if you want to drop more VODs, please feel free. Like, I love working with people over time, especially because there's so much nuance. There are so many different situations where you might choose to flank or you might choose to stay behind. And it's unfortunately really hard, if not impossible, to give you like a hard, fast rule to just follow. A lot of it is experience and brute force. Like, you just play so many games and you try so many things in the same situations over and over again that you just start to learn what works and what doesn't. Yeah? The trick to that is, and like, some people never, ever, ever learn from their mistakes. They just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and they never know why. So, like, I can't stress this enough. It's okay to play what feels reliable and consistent to you up until it is not working. And when it is not working and you are losing that game, the best thing you can do as a player is start getting creative. Just start trying shit, yeah? Even if it doesn't work. And just pay attention to what you're doing, what is working, what isn't working, why you think it is working or why you think it isn't working, and just become a smarter player. And you'll still lose that game. Who gives a fuck, yeah? You'll get that rank back because you came out of it a better player. It's like when you get a Smurf. Like, whenever I hear DPS complaining about Smurfs in their game, I'm like, bruh, you should be grateful for the opportunity to learn from someone better than you. You should be hard dueling that person the entire fucking game, just getting farmed by them. Because you will learn so much in trying not to get farmed by them, in trying to beat the Smurf, in trying to live against the Smurf. You learn so much, and you lose that game, and who cares? Because you're a better player, so you get that rank back and then some. Yeah? Alright, off of my soapbox. I hope that helps somewhat. I really wish I could give, like, a clearer rule on that, like, whether the... it's called playing first or playing second. So do I go and flank them and just kill them before they get a chance to take a fight? Or do I let them dive on me, let them push in, use all the resources they need to push in, absorb that, live, maybe even back up and live, and then push back in with all my resources and kill them? And the truth is, playing second is inherently stronger than playing first. But it's also, it carries risks, because if you don't absorb the attack, if they do get a pick and you can't peel it effectively, well, then you probably lost, right? But if they dump all these resources and they push in deep trying to kill someone, and they don't fucking kill anyone, well, now you have all your shit, yeah? And you can just smash them back. So, playing first, playing second, there is no hard, fast rule which is right. It's which one's working, yeah? It's a trade-off of different risks. I say it's which one's working, but, like, there are... God, we're only 2.5 minutes into this. I need to watch you play more and stop talking. But, there are some exceptions. For example, if you play Monkey, right? If the enemy team is playing Monkey, I will lock Diva, and I will just wait and play second. Because if that Monkey doesn't jump in, or walk in, drop in, whatever, if he doesn't come in on my backline to do something, and he's just right-clicking from range, he's doing jack shit. He's doing nothing. And it is fine for me as Diva also to sit there and do nothing, because it's entirely shutting that Monkey down. And if that Monkey does come in, Diva shreds Monkey. Monkey is one of the only killable tanks in the game, specifically if you have a Diva, because Diva just kills him so fucking hard. So, in a situation like that, I just like, fuck it, I played second. Free win, thank you. I'll just hang out back here, let you come to me, fucking kill you. You run away, I chase after you and kill you. Like, whichever. So, experience will help you decide if you want to play first or play second, but there isn't, like, a universal rule. God, as somebody who mains Diva, as a Diva player even before Overwatch 2, I fucking love when the enemy locks Monkey. Monkey is a super strong tank, don't get me wrong. And a really good Monkey can outplay a Diva, but it's so fucking hard for that Monkey. That Monkey has to be much better than the Diva to outplay them. Alright. Okay. Again, this is like there's a right way and a wrong way to do this, obviously, but I want you to start using your shatter more. Yeah? Remove the hesitation from hitting Q. That doesn't mean you can't still waste your shatter, but learn from the wasted shatters, not from the held shatters, if that distinction makes sense, right? I would rather... Because, like, you held your shatter and you should have used it here, and that is a much more painful lesson than using your shatter and being like, well, fuck, I could have held it. Because then you're at least already building your next one, right? So, still learn from your mistakes, still learn from your bad shatters, but remove the hesitation. Learn from the other mistake instead. And the other thing is, so in Overwatch 1, when it was 6v6, a single pick meant that statistically, they did the math, statistically, 80% of the time, you would win the fight, yeah? You won 80% of 6v5s, I think across ranks even. Like, advantage fights, right? You're just going to win them statistically more often. That makes empirical sense. It's even more true with one fewer players. If a 5v4 is even more in your favor than it was before. So, in Overwatch 1, even though it would get flamed, solo ulting someone was good. Just ulting someone and killing them was good. A solidly good play. Now, it is even better. You could legitimately, like, there's just a fucking Mercy here, there's, what is that, a BAP coming up? You could just shatter and pin this guy right fucking now if you wanted. Yeah, he's dead. He's so far from cover, no, Mercy can't out-heal your pin, like, he's dead. And then you just won this fight, and you're building your next shatter. Yeah? We shield the Reaper, that EMP hits, we shatter 2 right now, and this fight's over. Done. Option 2, pin one of them into the wall, and kill them. Because pin, they nerfed the damage pin does, it only does 200 now instead of 300. But it still kills a squishy, it kills a Reaper who's missing a couple bars. And like I said, if you get a pick and you don't die, you don't trade out for that pick, you probably win. So, flaming Reins used to get flamed all the time, probably still do, but Pin is one of the best abilities you have. It's a fight winning cooldown. It's a fight winning cooldown. Yeah? Single cooldown wins an entire fight. But you just can't be dumb about it, right? So if you pin either one of these two, can you die during that pin or immediately after before you get your shield up? Not a chance in hell, right? None of these people are doing shit to you. And it even puts you in a good position to, like, start following up on damage with other people. If like, whole enemy team is playing right here, and you pin around a corner away from your team into 5, yeah, you're fucked, right? You're just dead. So, again, experience will help, but pin more for starters. Start experimenting more with your pin and getting value off of it. But either way, shatter pin in this fight right now. Hey, Akara, how's it going? Yep. And now it's messy and weird. And also, let me bird's eye view this just so you can see. Your team is now in the middle. You especially. Which means if you shield these two, this guy is shooting you in the back for free. If you try to shield him, they're shooting you in the back for free. This is the last place you ever want to be as a Reinhardt. If you back up a little bit right here, it's a little bit better because you can kind of ignore this angle and just deal with this one. But Cass can flank or could come take this high ground if he was smart. Come take this high ground if he was smart, you know, whatever. So in this situation, we probably would have wanted to back out and come right to here so we can then start pushing them down. You sometimes, as a tank especially, any tank, part of your job is herding the enemy team, like you're herding cats, right? And you're just trying to herd them all into one place that it's easier for your team to surround. So off angles like this guy, anyone that's like split, if you can clear this first, ask a DPS to do it, or go do it yourself, or get help from your team, bring your whole team with you even, 5 people, just push this guy out, whatever. You don't have to kill the off angle, you just have to push it out. Herd the cats down into the middle, and your life gets so much easier. That's a much higher level concept than the other things I've been talking about. Keep that in the back of your mind, but worry about the other stuff first. Like the fighting on corners, pathing through cover, building those habits are way more important right now, yeah? Finish scrims? Nice. Scrims go good? Whoop. Okay.
What's next?
Oh. I'm probably just gonna watch, like, 1 or 2 more fights just to make sure there isn't anything new. But I'm probably just gonna be repeating myself a lot at this point, so if you have any questions about any of this, or if there's anything else, like, in the second half of this game that you have questions about or you'd like me to see, let me know now. But I'm just gonna watch a little bit more. Otherwise. Win okay, always a bit hard to play when you got 2 ringers. Yeah. Scrim codes are so broken right now, are they? I've only reviewed the one scrim, and it seemed... that one at least seemed okay, but... yeah. So, like, that was a bad pin, because... it was so much open space, and they were able to shoot you so much. You canceled the pin, which is good, but now we're low health, low shield. I know the bot's pushing and we're starting to stress, but you had actually made the right call by backing out, and you just had to wait, or even keep walking. You don't want to push back in without 5 people, because unless it's do or die. Like, if you have no other choice but we gotta take this fight, then okay. But right now you did. You have so much time before the bot actually gets here and you have to stop it. We could just be chilling inside here waiting, and then we can step out and stop it, right? Don't know what I did there. That was me not thinking. I think I saw Sombra and thought team was back or something. Alright, yeah, shit happens. You've been playing much better than this one moment, so, like, figured I would mention it, but if it's not, like, your usual play, then I wouldn't stress about it. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt, but if I'm not able to be on Twitch during the VOD, what happens? Oh, you have 2 options. Either I do it without you, and then you can just watch the VOD back later, which is totally fine, because, like, I'm doing these for content and for, like, whatever other people I have watching, so, like, that's fine with me. But if you would really rather prefer to be there, just make a note in the VOD request, and I will skip it until like a day that you're there in chat, yeah? I'll just keep skipping your VOD until you're around. As a side note, the skipping your VOD till you're around thing, so far it's fine. Like, not very many people want me to, like, wait until they're there for the VOD. So far it's not a problem, but I envision it potentially becoming a thing I stop doing or have to cut back if, like, fucking everyone wants me to wait and I just don't have VODs to do otherwise, but that just hasn't been the case yet. Good if you do it and I watch later? Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Alright. Oh, right. I had one other thing for you, just as a, Ooh! That was a beautiful shatter, dude. We're gonna watch that again. That was well done. I haven't even really talked about... Actually, that might have been your first shatter. I'm not sure. You might have already used one and I wasn't paying attention. If so, I apologize. But, that was really good. That was your first? Okay. The Rein v Rein and outplaying them can become, like, a whole thing on its own, and I'm not gonna worry too much about that. I will give you one tip, just in case you didn't already know. You might already know. Your Q, hammer down animation, is faster than the fire strike animation. So if this Rein fire strikes you and you're watching for it and you're fast with your reaction times, you put his ass on the ground for free. He cannot possibly get his shield up to block it. Which also means if you think the other Rein has shatter, be real careful about fire striking, because he can put your ass on the ground when you do. Yeah. Let's just watch this one more time, and then I'm going to give you, like, one little push tip, and then we're going to call it. One thing about this. As soon as you hit Q, crouch and fire strike. Don't step forward and fire strike. You want to crouch because the fire strike goes through people, and because they're all, like, on the ground, depending on how far out in a line they are, it makes it easier to send the fire strike through everyone. I noticed Rein's in goal actually drop shield when you shatter out of panic, and it saves so many bad shatters. They also, if you start swinging on them, even if they know you have shatter, if you're just there swinging on them, they panic and start to swing back. And the moment the shield drops, well, I should say the moment the shield drops, because a smart Rein will flash their shield, they'll drop it and put it right back up. But the moment the swing animation starts, they probably are not going to get their shield up in time. Probably. But, Right now, we crouch and fire strike, and then we pin. Yeah? And that's the only thing I change about this. Otherwise, fucking beautiful. Work of art. I love that. I love that shatter. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to give you, like, because you asked for specific push tips, so I'm going to give you one, even though I'm a little bit nervous about giving it, just because, like, I don't want this to turn into you, into a bad habit, into you fucking this up. On control point maps and on push maps, whoever wins the first fight will probably win the entire map. That's not a guarantee. It's not lost. If you lost the first fight, you should absolutely keep fighting. You can always bring them back, right? But statistically, the majority of the time, whoever wins the first fight on control point or push wins the map. On control point, it's because of it's just straight up the timing and ult generation. So you take the first point. Those points are super easy to defend and hard to attack. So it takes the enemy team a bunch of time to get their ults up to win the fight. So you get 99%, then you're out of ults by then. They have the ult economy. They take it at 99. Then it replays again. They get it up to 99, but now they have no ults. You have all the ults. You take it back. You win an OT. That's like, that happens all the fucking time on control point, right? And then push, if you push the payload even a little bit, well, now the bot has to run back first and then start pushing, and then run even further back and start pushing. So whoever gets that first push has an advantage, has an easier time with this map than the other. That said, if it is so important to win this fight, I would love for you to think about it in a different way. It is really bad for you to lose this fight. It's not that it's really important to win it. It's really important to not lose it. Yeah? Because my worry is I tell you it's really important to win it, and you're like, fuck, I'm in aggro, I gotta kill things, we gotta win this, we gotta do shit, right? Nah. It is so much better to play this slowly, patiently, carefully. Even let them push them push it a few feet. Who cares? Yeah? A few feet doesn't matter. What matters is the fight. Whoever wins this fight, not whoever gets the bot first. Yeah? So if you have to back out to stabilize and live and then win this fight, please do. Yeah? My big tip for push is just do not lose this first fight if you can, if you can at all avoid it. And just know that it's not that it's lost if you do. It's that it's now an uphill fight if you do. Yeah, we're going to have to put on our carry pants maybe if we lose this first fight. Versus if we win this first fight, push feels almost relaxing to me if you win the first fight. Like, it feels really chill to me. But anyway. I'm going to call this VOD here. If you want to drop another VOD, please feel free. Like I said, I love working with people. And like I said, there's so much nuance that can go into this. This game is so complex. There are so few hard, fast rules about anything. And even some of the, everything that I told you today is it's almost always true. It's not that it is a hard rule, right? It's just that it's almost always true. So use it as a starting point, but more VOD reviews are also just your own common sense, right? Sometimes you might have to do some weird shit to win a game. That's just Overwatch. That's part of what makes it fun, in my opinion. If it was just learn all the rules and follow them perfectly every time, I would already be done with this game and on to something else. I would be way too fucking bored.